Okay, so a couple days ago, I finally got this Super Chuck disconnected from its MT2 arbor. And as a result, I've been thinking I'd like to go ahead and get a Brown and Sharpe number 9 adapter set up for it. And considering the fact that I'm fixing to drill some pretty good sized hole saw holes into some steel, I thought this might be a good time to go ahead and make the Brown and Sharpe adapter for this chuck. And while I definitely want to do that eventually, I think I may have just came up with a more streamlined solution that will be quicker and ultimately better specifically for the hole saw thing, simply because it will eliminate the massive height of this chuck plus one of these plus the hole saw. So if I were to make a Brown and Sharpe arbor specifically for this, that would save me an awful lot of height, or a lot of distance. Save me a lot of distance. So what I'm thinking about doing is this. Or something along these lines right here. Brown and Sharpe number 9 taper. I've got some inch and about 5/8 material, 5/8 steel. What I'm looking at doing is just drilling a couple of quarter-inch hole, drilling and tapping for a couple of 1/4 20 bolts to pick up the drive pins on this, and just mounting this to that. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is start the material off in the lathe like this. Maybe just clean up about an inch worth of this surface and drill and tap my 1/4 inch holes. Take the material back out of the chuck up on this surface right here, and turn my Brown and Sharpe number 9, drill and tap the 1/2 inch 13, and call it a day. Anytime I've been using these hole saws with these arbors, they always have a ton of run out anyways. So even if I make this just an absolute piece of crap, it really won't be that big of a deal. The other thing is, if I decide that I need it in the future, I can also add right in the center a hole for a 1/4 inch drill bit for a pilot drill for one of these. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get me a piece of stock. This is the thing I'm debating on right now, is what size I want to actually make all of this. I think I'm going to cut me about a 5-inch piece of stock off of this and chuck it up in the lathe and see what happens. I'm going to pause the camera. I'm going to bring you over there, show you the metal that I'm using, and start getting it cut. Alrighty, so here's the metal I'm using. This is just another thing that I found out at Century. Like I said, it's about not quite an inch and 5/8 in diameter, and I think it's reasonably soft. I don't think it's anything hardened. The file doesn't seem to have any problems with it. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself off a 5-inch piece of that. Right now it's about, what is it, 47, 48 inches long if I remember right. It's stupid heavy, so I'm going to cut me a piece of it off, and I'm going to chuck it up in the lathe, and I'll bring you guys back in a little bit here once I get it chucked in the lathe, once I get it the lathe chuck running reasonably true, I'll bring you guys right back. Okay, I'm fairly satisfied with how I've got this chucked up in the lathe here, so I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning this end of it up, face this end off, and clean this up here a little bit. Got to put my little chip shield back on. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and clean that end, that face up, and I'll bring you guys back in a second here. All right, so I've got my end, the face of it cleaned up. I decided not to turn any off of this outside diameter. I'm going to leave this. I just sanded it, cleaned it up a little bit with some sandpaper. Since I'm running fairly within a couple thousandths off of this surface, I figured I'll just leave it alone. I am going to go ahead and drill my 1/4-inch hole right in the center, and I'm going to use that 1/4-inch hole to also help me get my the dimensions for the 2 locating pins. So I'm going to go ahead and spot this thing, or center drill this, whatever you want to call it, real quick, and get it to 1/4 inch. Alright, I think you guys pretty well get the idea on that. I'm going to change out to my 1/4 inch drill bit and finish out the center hole there, and I'll bring you guys back in a second. Okay, so I've got my center hole drilled now, and I'm fixing to set up my crummy tool post drill. So I figure I'll just kind of bring the tool post to it. Hopefully I can keep it fairly straight that way, fairly square. I have to really watch it on this tool post drill because it has a real good tendency to try to seize up on me. Really don't want that to happen very badly. I've got my chuck, I've got the spindle of the lathe locked in one position right now. I found out some time back that I could lock the spindle in like 6 different positions or 12 different positions. So I'm going to have it locked in here. I'll drill one hole and then I'll rotate it around and drill the other hole. I think that'll help me to keep the 2 holes concentric, but let's see here. See if I can make that height or not. So far, it's not looking like it. Alright, so we are experiencing technical difficulties. Alright, I'm going to pause the camera while I figure out how I'm going to handle this. Okay, I finally got that sorted out, I think. So the next thing now is I need to move the carriage out a ½ inch. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. So hopefully 5 rounds on my dial and I'll be a ½ inch away from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a measurement for a sanity check on that to see if I'm where I think I should be. Let's see here, how am I going to do that too? About 3/4 of an inch. That might be right. Let's see here. I'm going to pause the camera again and I'm going to double check this. Because if I goof this up, I gotta make another game plan here. Okay, that should work. What I wound up doing to confirm that is setting this up with one of these arbors backwards, and I got about the same thing, 0.73. That's about what I've got across there. So theoretically I should be right where I want to be for drilling these 2 holes. So I'm going to, now I got to figure out which drill bit I need to tap a 1/4 inch hole. I don't want to drill the 1/4 inch. That will ruin the whole thing right there. Actually, first things first, I'm going to spot it. That might be a halfway smart thing to do. I know this is looking like amateur hour, but for good reason. This is not something I do. I don't do precision on a regular basis, so kind of a new concept for me. Guess I really ought to lock that down too. That might have goofed the whole thing up. And I got to remember I cannot use high speed on this. Okay. Now I'm going to unlock my back gears and rotate this about rotate this around 180. Spot this side. Alright, hopefully that's in the right plane. Okay. Now I can double check this. That does not look like it's in the right plane. Well, maybe it's just an optical illusion, but hopefully it's an optical illusion. All right. It might be just a little bit narrower than I'd like to be. Bring that out just a little bit, and I'm going to repilot these holes. Alright, I'm going to pause you again. I'll bring you back when I start actually drilling something. Alright, I think I got this reasonably sorted out here. So I've got my drill bit in there, a little bit undersized. It's supposed to be number 7, so I got the best thing that I could. And I'm going to start drilling these guys. At least this material is nice and soft. Really? Alright. Hang on. Dead battery. Dead battery coming through. Alright. Fresh battery. Let's be on the safe side. Give this thing a little love. Alright, well, I'm going to keep at this for a little bit here. I'll bring you guys back when I start to tap these holes. Okay. I think I can use the jaws on this chuck as a tapping guide reasonably well here. So we'll go ahead and tap these two bolts, tap these two threads, and see if I've blown this or not. I think I'm started enough. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause you while I tap the other hole, and then I'll bring you back for the moment of truth, mounting the actual hole saw. Alright, I'm going to finish cleaning out the chips or swarf from here, and then we'll test fit the hole saw. It's got a magnet on there to help me get any little thing out of these holes. All right. See if these guys, I might have to get a shorter bolt. Okay. Hang on just a second while I go grab shorter bolts. Okay, that should ought to work. Yeah. I might have to go in with a bottoming tap to finish these holes off. Alright. Yep, give me just a minute. I'm going to hit this with a different tap to get a little bit deeper threads. Okay, I think I finally got these holes sorted. I think I just have a little bit of a burr in there or something. So, let's see what happens here. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh yeah, I think that'll work just fine. I'd say that's probably not any more wobble than any of the hole saw arbors. So I think that'll be more than enough for part one. I'll set it up to do the taper in part two.